So, welcome to this episode of the Down the Pub podcast. This is our 100th full episode, actually, and I've wanted this player on the show for a while. My constant badgering has finally worked, and he's agreed to appear on the show. Our guest has played with Drogheda United, Reading United, Portland Timbers 2, and he's now at Forward Madison. He's also played college football for the Kaiser Seahawks and the Penn State Nittany Lions. So please welcome to the show, fellow Dub, Aaron Molloy. Welcome to the show, man.
Thank you very much, Anthony. Really appreciate it. Yeah, long time coming, like you said, but yeah, happy to be on.
Did you have your own podcast at one stage?
I did, yeah. I started it in quarantine, and I got all the bits and bobs to it, and didn't know how much work it was, and I was flying. Actually, I had 3 episodes uploaded every week for 3 weeks, and that's when we started getting back into training, back into football, and it was. For me, it was a little bit too much. Actually, I was taking classes as well, so I had to give up one of them. So I gave up the podcast. It's still there, still have the account, and still have all the equipment. So maybe one day I'll get back to it.
So what was the name of the show?
It's called Kicking and Streaming. Yeah. So
it's way better than Down the Pub, man. Can I steal the name?
you got it. No, down the pub is something all the Irish folks will remember for sure.
So yeah, Jake, that was on the show a couple of weeks ago, your colleague there, he had his own podcast too. So I think it's great to see that, like, you professional footballers don't realize how hard we have it as podcasters. So I'm glad you're starting to see the amount of work we put into this thing, which is basically like me just recording once a week. Anyway, so I just thought we'd do a couple of like little questions just to get us into the swing of things. So what would you prefer, Tato or King Crisps?
King Crisps.
Man, I'm the same. Like,
King.
When I ever tell people that I don't like Tato, they like I'm basically they're trying to strip me of my passport.
It's not that I don't like Tato. It's just when I think of growing up as a kid, being down the park, it was always a King Sambo.
There we go.
I was given. There you go. Yeah.
the height of Irish cuisine, a King Crisp sandwich. Lions or Barry's tea?
Oh, I think Barry's tea. Barry's tea. Yeah.
Nice. First pair of football boots you remember owning?
The first pair was the blue old R9 Mercurials is what I remember. Yeah,
nice.
Yeah.
Love it.
Mm-hmm.
What's your favorite hobby outside of football?
Favorite hobby outside of football? Honestly, I just hang out with all the lads here. Nothing really much going on. Me and Jake Keegan play a lot of ping pong, number 1 and 2 in the locker room. So I won't tell you who's 1. I won't tell you who's 2. You can make that up yourself. But yeah, no, just anything that passes the time, really. Speak to my girlfriend on the phone, speak to family on the phone. Yeah, just try to get right for the next day.
So you aren't like hanging around down the shops, like causing troubles or anything like that, right?
No. We're all at the same apartment, thankfully. So.
Oh, that's really
nice.
Cool. That's nice.
Yeah.
So your last one of these, your favorite TV show or movie?
Favorite movie is growing up was Rush Hour 3. I was mad into Chris Tucker, Jackie Chan. What those 3 movies, unbelievable. But something that a TV show that I've recently binge watched was actually New Girl. I actually really enjoyed that right now. And right now I'm actually on Vikings. So
nice.
enjoying Vikings right now.
Wow, that's the most random movie choice of all time. Like fuck The Godfather, fuck Goodfellas, Rush Hour, not even Rush Hour 1, Rush Hour 3. It's very specific.
Yeah, no, it was. I just remember as a kid that was always on. Oh, I had it always on all the time. So yeah, something that you can just put on in the background, something that I can watch 100 times and laugh 100 times. So.
Oh, I love it, man. So if you don't mind, if you want to just tell us what part of Dublin you grew up, and when did your interest in football kind of like really like come along?
Yeah, I grew up in the north side, the inner city north side, around in and around Dominic Street, Dorset Street, and a little bit down Sheriff Street. And yeah, just you know yourself, growing up in the city centre, you don't really have much going on. You get a football, you have a wall, you have a pitch, and spend hours and hours there. And it did help that my dad Trevor was a professional footballer as well, so I was always that smelly kid in college. I remember going to smelly kid in school. I remember going to school, had to be there at like 8 o'clock, and before school every day, he threw me out for a half an hour, rain, sleet, or snow, kicking the ball against the wall, just straight into
Wow.
school. Then, so, just for as long as I remember, just going out with a ball, kicking it against the wall for hours and hours.
Love it. So like we can't not mention your dad. Like, so he's like an absolute legend in Irish football. So, like, did you feel like you were in his shadow growing up? But like, was it always kind of mentioned, like, you know, like he's your Trevor's son rather than your Aaron? You know what I mean?
Yeah, it definitely was mentioned, but it never ever got to me. I knew me just craving my own path. Tell you who it did get to. It did get to me, ma. Whenever I was in the papers and it wasn't Aaron Molloy, it was Trevor's son, and that she'd be causing uproar or whatever. But honestly, it never really bothered me. We're two very very different players. He was a small, tricky winger, number 10 striker who got goals, and I'm a defensive midfield player who likes to be busy and get on the ball. So, and honestly, like when I come over here to America, I didn't really mention that at all, either. But it wasn't something that was always in the back of my mind where I felt under pressure because he played at a high level and all that type of stuff. If anything, it's definitely helped me, getting a voice from him and that.
Yeah, it's definitely a nice person to be able to go to if you have any questions, right? Jesus.
Absolutely.
So you've actually brought a bit of goal scoring to your game yourself. You got two the other night. First one was a penalty that the keeper should have saved. I'm joking. The second one was an absolute bullet of a goal. So can you walk us through exactly what happened?
Yeah, first of all, I want to thank Jake Keegan for both goals. He gave me the pen. Probably because he played with Greenville the past 2 years. Goalkeeper probably know where he went. But yeah, I've been working on them a lot, working on my set pieces, working on pens. Went straight down the middle for the pen. 4 minutes later, our coach has been on us about a little bit of counter attack when our wingers get the ball going up in support. Didn't realise that all three of our midfielders were up almost past the ball. But no, Jake was class, laid it off to the edge of the box, and I just tried to hit it, put my head down, hit it clean, and I went top corner, and I was pleased, especially against Greenville, who were a team that won everything last year, so it meant that a little bit more.
Yeah, I mean, you've kind of you and Jacob actually built like a pretty decent relationship. I mean, like you set one up there for a couple of weeks ago, which was like purely like you know that you two have like done that in training because you don't just make those runs off for no reason. So like, how do you find them as a player? Like you guys work on this stuff at training like a lot, or is it just like from just kicking like scrimmages and stuff like that you kind of get used to it?
No, we definitely bounce ideas off each other. Obviously, different games give us different things, different opportunities. And we just create a relationship on the field. I try to find him as much as I can. He's a danger man in and around the box. He scores goals from nothing. He's fantastic. And yeah, we've got a good relationship on and off the field, which definitely helps. He helped me settle in pretty well. Obviously, he played in League of Ireland for a few years, so we had a few things in common when I came in. He made it a little bit easier for me. But yeah, Jake and I have definitely got that little relationship and kind of know each other a little in, like, you know what I mean, know each other's passes, know each other what we're gonna do. So yeah, it's fantastic.
Love it. Yeah, because on the show, he said that like he put you in as we do like a 5-a-side thing at the end of the show, and he put you in there and said that like you were one of the best players he's played with. And I mean, you've only played like 9 games together, so it's quite a compliment, you know what I mean? So
no, it is.
So last year you were with Portland Timbers too. It wasn't the greatest season that they've ever had, I'd imagine. But and you played like every minute, I think, for them in the league. So how did the move come about then to go to forward? Like I know you were kind of also dropping down a division. Like, so like how did the move come about, and what made you decide to leave Portland?
Yeah, I had different offers from championship teams, but after speaking to Coach Carl Craig and like the philosophy and the way he wanted the locker room, the culture, winning mentality, and the way he wanted his 6 and 8 to play, because I can play both positions. It just made sense. Last year we didn't win many games. I didn't get my name out there as much on a personal level, and even as a team level, we didn't perform. We didn't win many games. So I felt as though I needed to start somewhere where it will suit my game. And after speaking with Carl and speaking to my agent, it was a no-brainer really, and I'm very happy with the decision I've made, and been here 9 games now, and absolutely loving the city. The city is fantastic. The team's great. Locker room is second to none. The lads are great. So yeah, just all in all, just a good place to be.
Yeah, you can see on the pitch too that, like, I mean, you've kind of really settled in. Like, I mean, like, you're passing the ball around. Like, honestly, like, you remind me of Richie Ryan. I don't know if you've ever seen Richie play.
I know Richie, yeah.
Yeah, like, you're just able to, like, just take control of the game, and like, you're playing in scorching hot temperatures. Like, you're both gingers, and it's like it's second nature to you. And like, you don't look like you're sweating. It's just so easy for you. So, like, was that always the way you played the game from when you were a kid? Like, just always wanting to have the ball, or like, did you play any other positions or anything like that?
Yeah, no, that, like, exactly. You're going to take the words out of my mouth. I always just wanted to be on the ball and be the most busiest player on the pitch. I know as a young lad, probably 7, 8, 9, I wanted to be like my dad. I wanted to be that winger. I wanted to be that striker, and I did for a couple of years. And I was a late bloomer, a late developer. So I became a number 10 because I wasn't quick enough or strong enough up front. I was technical as the number 10, but then I wasn't sharp enough. I became really fit, got as a number 8. Super fit up and down, and then I just grew into my body. I became more explosive. I became smarter, and I just wanted to be busy on the ball, and I felt as though the 6th position was for me. I mean, played street football all my life, and that's all about like how smart you are, how you read the game, because it's such small, tight spaces with a lot of people. So, I think only when I was 18, I decided that's the position I want to try out for or whatever. So not playing the position super long, but yeah, just finding my feet really, really handy here, and really enjoying it.
Yeah, it's amazing. Like, it's, as I said, like, it's just second nature to you, just to have the ball at your feet. It's crazy. So you started your pro career Drogheda. Like, I think you're in Bo's youth system, right? So
Yeah, I was with Bows 19s, and then I signed an amateur contract with Bows, but I made the bench for 1 cup game. Never got on or anything like that. And I had another year at 19s. Keith Long wanted me to stay, but I fancied myself to go play first team football, even though I had another year at 19s. And Pete Mann came with me playing the first course with Harry McHugh and Sean Marr, and then straight afterwards he waited in the first course for me after the game and made sure I signed there and then. But yeah, Pete and Harry have been fantastic for me over the years.
So can you explain to people, like, because we're in Canada right now, what the fuck a false course is?
Oh, sorry. So the football. Well, there's different types of first courses. The one I did was a football. It was called the FEI first course, and what exactly is so I took a gap year, and that's what I did. I went, and you take classes that are similar to your high school credits, like your Leaving Cert, but then you also train every day with professional footballers or aspiring professional footballers. So we were all half the team at one stage were professional, the other half were U19s or playing at a really high level amateur. So it's just good to keep them back in the education system, earn some points towards a Leaving Cert, but then also play football every single day. And for me, it was a no-brainer. Continue my education and then also play football at a high level. So it made sense.
And did you get paid? They normally pay on false courses, don't they?
No.
Okay. Enough said. Moving on.
Yeah.
I'll cut that bit out. So when as you said, you're playing there with Drogheda. Like, you were like, what would have been like, what, 18, 19 when you were playing up there?
Yeah, I think I was 18, 19. Yeah.
So you're playing against men, like you're playing against like hardened professionals. Like, so how did you find that jump from playing like under 19s football to like playing against like people who've been around the block?
Yeah, no, I always wanted to challenge myself. Like, that was something that the reason why I went to Drogheda, because I could have played another year at 19s, and not that it would have been easy, but I definitely wanted a bigger challenge. I was talking to a few of the teams at the time, but I ended up going to Drogheda. It was close to home. My dad lives in Town, so after the game to stay with him and that. But went into pre-season and just said, I'm just going to give it a go. I don't want to go in there and be the rookie, so to speak, over here, be that 18, 19-year-old who doesn't get any minutes. I want to go in and show them that I can play. And after the first day or two, I smashed all the fitness tests. I came first. That got me name out there. And I was lucky enough that there was 5 or 6, probably 6 midfielders, and they all wanted to be 8s and 10s. And I said, I'll put my hand up, said, hey, I'm a 6, so I ended up playing. For Drogheda, I had a really good pre-season, played against Dundalk and I think it was the Jim Malone Cup, played against Cork in a friendly, played really, really well. That's when both of them were at the height of their reigns, top of the league. Done really, really well. And I think I played 13 out of 14 or 14 out of 15 games, started as an 18-year-old. And that was absolutely fantastic. It was a great experience of playing in the midfield with Jake Keegan, Sean Cavanagh, Sean Brennan. The lads have been in the league a very long time, so learning from them was great. But yeah, no, I held my own. Not afraid of a tackle. Won't pull out of one. So I definitely was able to hang with the lads in the league, and you know how it is. It can be pretty physical at times.
Yeah, like that's insane that you're able to kind of keep up and play so many games. And it just seems to be a thing in your career that you go, like, you must be like super fit because you always seem to play like the full 90, like no matter where you go. So obviously from Drogheda, like you left Drogheda and you went to the States then. So you're kind of living the dream a little bit where you're playing professional football. So what made you decide then, and how did the chance come about to move stateside?
It took a whole year. So I think it was August 2015. I actually said, I want to give it a go. And I don't know the process or anything. I know it might take a long time. So it actually took a year of all the whole process. I was actually still with Bowes at the time. And before I signed a Drogheda, I mentioned to the Pete, I said, hey, Pete, I'm going to America in June. I think it was June, July. And this is before preseason. He's like, yeah, no worries at all. So little did he know, I played almost every game, and then 2 weeks beforehand, I pulled him aside. I said, Pete, like I'm heading. Remember, I told you I had this conversation with you. I said I'm heading in 2 weeks. He's like, no, try to get me to stay. Yeah, try to get me to stay and everything. He tried to get me to a few teams and just trials in England. Just trying to make me, I don't know, try to keep me sweet or whatever. But my mind was already made up from a year prior. And the whole thing came about through the FOSS course, the football course that I was telling you about. Harry McHugh put me in contact with a lad who'd done the course 4 or 5 years prior to me, named Alan McCann, and he's been an absolute like gent for me. He's been the biggest influence on me and heading over to the States. He came, had a cup of tea with me in the house. He's from the University Dublin himself. He was the assistant coach at a very small school in Florida. And I had other offers, but I just felt comfortable. Felt comfortable with him, and he brought me in. And after 1 year, before I even got there, he says, you're only here for a year. You're gonna be out. And I like, no, I want to be here. It's Florida. It's amazing. Played the summer league, and yeah, just like that, 1 good year with Alan, and he pushed me out because he knew I could play at a higher level. So at the time, I didn't like it, but I knew he had his the best intentions at heart.
So you went to Penn State then, which is like one of the biggest universities in the States. So you're playing at Drogheda, like League of Ireland First Division team at the time, I think.
Mm-hmm.
What were the facilities like, like in the States at this amazing school compared to what you were used to in Drogheda?
I probably don't want to compare it to Drogheda. I'll just put it out there that I think the facilities at Penn State would be better than majority facilities in the Premier League.
Wow.
Yeah, like it's really, really hard to explain. Besides the capacity at the stadium, we've pretty much everything. We've got full-time trainers, full-time gym instructors, full-time nutritionists, free food all the time, boots whenever you want, massages. If you want to speak to coaches, you want to speak to people from your mental health. We got hot tubs, ice baths. We got 3-4 gyms you could use only for athletes at the school. And these just aren't any gyms. They got all the best technology with all that stuff. And we got an indoor facility for when it rains or snows. Got 2 brilliant grass pitches. And then our grass, we got people that study grass at the school. So we have the best of the best grass for when we play. So yeah, like that's only half of it too. It really is. And it was a big reason why I went to Penn State. I went on a visit there. I just said to myself, like, it's almost impossible for me not to be a better person, not to be a better player with all these facilities here right at my feet. And I took advantage of every single bit of it. So yeah, thanks to Penn State for the opportunity. It was fantastic couple of years.
So what were the where Alan went to his school? Like, what was the facilities like there? Like, I'd say
it wasn't as good. Yeah, it definitely wasn't as good because like the school that I'm at, like for the American football that holds up to 110,000 people. So
Jesus.
all the money that the football get, I think that's the revenue for the whole sports. And down in Florida when I was with Alan, they didn't even have a football team at the time, an American football team. So we didn't have the best of everything, but we made what we had, and we had each other. It was a great locker room. Like the lads had each other's backs, and it just made it good when we were going out and playing. Like it wasn't terrible, but it just wasn't comparable to Penn State, and honestly, not much is.
So did you have it? So did you have a few options before you picked Penn State? Like did a couple of
There was
schools come knocking?
there was a few teams. I was knocking. Well, a few teams were knocking at my door, but it was getting pretty late. And Penn State moved things really fast. I'll tell you a funny story how I actually got recruited by Penn State was Alan didn't say anything to me, and I think it was Villanova. I think Syracuse were there, and Penn State. And there was a game I got 2 yellows. My first time ever getting a red card. I think I got a 60, 70th minute, and we end up winning the game 2-1. But I was fuming with myself because I felt as though the second one wasn't a yellow. And I missed out on 20 minutes, 30 minutes of playing. So usually the subs will go and do a bit of running. So I went and did the running with the lads because I missed out on 20 minutes. And Penn State seen that because obviously they seen I could play. But they wanted to see what type of person I was, my attitude and that type of stuff. So they seen that I was a good guy, and they stayed back after the game. I didn't get to speak to them, but they just wanted to see what I would do if I'd have my hanging my head or whatever. So getting recruited off a red card was something that not many people can say.
I love it.
Yeah.
But it does go to show you that, like, you know, you're not a prima donna or not like that. You know what I mean? It's like obviously you're pissed off that you got a red card and you didn't think it's fair, but you still had like the wherewithal to, like, you know, I'm still gonna run with the lads, still doing my bit. So like I'm not like a huge asshole basically. And it's
absolutely.
I'm glad that they stayed back and watched them, man. That's jeez, they watch everything. That's crazy. Jeez.
Yeah, no, they do. You're going into their program for the next 3-4 years, and they don't want to waste money on a lad who's going to bring the culture down, or who hasn't got a good attitude, or when things don't go their way, they're going to be mopping around or whatever. So they really do. They really look at all the little things.
So you're playing Penn State's in the Big Ten or something they call it, isn't it?
Big Ten conference, yeah.
Yeah. So what was the standard of football like at that? And going back to your Drogheda thing, like, so did playing against those guys really help you playing at that level? Because I mean, you're playing with some of the best football players in all of America at that stage, right?
Yeah, no, it did. It definitely helped. I mean, that year in Drogheda definitely helped me be from a boy into a man. Because obviously going into men's football, it definitely helped me. How to use my body well, how to just put on a little bit of weight. And then at Penn State, you're playing against the best of the best. You're playing against the likes of Maryland, Indiana, Michigan State, and they're just in conference teams. And people probably they sleep on the level of college, but it's the level here is absolutely fantastic. Some really good players. And a lot of people in MLS, a lot of Americans in MLS have at one point been in college. So I don't think it gets enough respect as what it should. But yeah, it definitely helped me as I went on to the years at Penn State. So grateful for the opportunity I draw that helped me mold into the player that I am.
So you won a bunch of individual awards, didn't you? Like at Penn State, like the best midfielder or something like that. Like does that stuff mean anything to you? Like some people are like it's, you know, it's not a team thing. I didn't win anything, but I mean, like, yeah, you must be proud of yourself, like when you get like recognition like that.
Yeah, well, I'm going to be completely honest with you. We didn't have a great culture locker room my first year or two. Great guys, but there was just different priorities, if that makes sense. And then senior year, we had 13, 14 new lads, and then us lads that were still remaining. It was up to us to make that change in the culture, make that change in the locker room. And I think the biggest thing that I got from that year was, putting all the accolades aside, was we are ranked 130th or 113th. There was something with 100 and a 3 in it. And we everywhere slept on, but we had all these freshmen come in, and we decided, like, yeah, we're gonna get the locker room right. And we end up finishing the season 13th ranked in the nation. So we jumped 100 spots.
Wow.
We lost 2 games in the whole season, besides playoffs, against 2 top 5 teams, which was Stanford and Indiana. They're the only 2 teams we lost to. So it was a testament to the players, to the seniors, to the freshmen for buying in, and also for the coaches. But all that aside, I became an All-American Big Ten Midfielder of the Year. But that's what I'm most proud of is how the team went through adversity and got down to getting Penn State back on the map.
That's incredible. Like 100 spots, man. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
So like, what sort of changes did you make? Like, you just start doing like more pranks on people, or?
No, we just became more closer, like more together. I mean, obviously it's college, there's going to be distractions, and we try to starve those distractions, and like we start like putting our attention to what really matters. And there's definitely times to go out and have fun, don't get me wrong, but we have to look at what's important, and different the ways what we're doing it. And when I came in with my class, it wasn't like that, but my class made sure that when we left, that we're going to leave it good for the new lads coming in. And the past 2 years, they've been absolutely fantastic. I think they end up going down to even further, like 8, 9, 10 ranked in the nation. So yeah, that's what I'm mostly proud of. I'm mostly happy about.
So it's all thanks to you.
No. I was a very small part of it. We had a good senior class that year. The likes of Nick Reeple, Callum Pritchard, Pierre Reedy, Brandon Hackenberg, Josh Levine, Christian Sloat, like all those lads were my year, and we all just came together. I even had coach involved at one point, and said this is where we want to go, and this is what we think is going to help the team, and it did. So no, I played a very small part in that, but yeah, just glad that everyone bought in.
I feel like you're selling yourself short there, buddy. So you got drafted then by Portland. You went in the first round, I think 15th or something.
First round, 16th. Yeah.
16th. Sorry. So what's that date like? Did you do like was there a combine and all that kind of stuff when you were there?
Yeah. Got invited to the combine. There was a month before the draft. Done really well actually. I had 3 or 4 interviews with MLS teams before the game, played really, really well. And then I had another 3, 4 interviews afterwards because I played really well, just chatting to the teams in the hotel. The draft came about, and I wasn't going to go top 10, so they didn't send out any camera crew or scarves or anything like that. I think anywhere between 15th and the 25th pick or second round is where I was in and around about to go, and I was happy that I was 16th. But what happened was I just had it on the telly. I was in my girlfriend's place in New Jersey. She had a couple of our friends over. I had my laptop with my ma and her family and all that on one side. I had my girlfriend's laptop with my dad and all them. So it was great to have everyone there, if that makes sense. But yeah, it was a great experience.
So what happens like the day after the draft? Like, you're now a Portland Timber, I guess, right? You signed a contract, an entry-level contract, whatever. So what's the next day look like? Are you like this? You're going to first team training, or are they going to like run some more tests on you? Like
no. So what happened was the draft, I believe, was January 10th or 12th, or 10th, 11th, or 12th. It was in and around there. But preseason didn't start for another 2-3 weeks. So I was in New Jersey. And the next day I got drafted, got a couple of phone calls off the people at Portland saying, you're due back this date, blah, blah, blah. So I had 2 weeks to get back into the, like I was already working out and that, but just to get into the gym and get touches on the ball. So I went back up to Penn State for 2 weeks, trained with the lads, trained with the strength coach there for 2 weeks, and then went to Portland. I was there with the first team probably 5-6 weeks, went to Costa Rica with the lads for preseason for 2 weeks. Done well enough to the point where they offered me a second team contract, and some incentives for me to go up to first team, and that was the biggest part of it. Signed, and then just things just didn't work out. It wasn't a fantastic year as a team, but also personally, it wasn't something that I'm super proud of my performances. But yeah, I feel as though I found my feet back here in Madison.
Yeah, like it's so difficult. Like, I don't think people appreciate how difficult it is, like, to actually make it to an MLS team. Like, I think people like just think, like you see all the razzmatazz around the draft, and then it's like once you're drafted, you're a player. But it isn't that easy. There's still like an awful lot of hoops to jump through. Like, so did you get a knock to your confidence when they put you on the Portland Timbers too? Like, did you feel that you were ready to play in the MLS?
Um, it was a unique situation because it was a pandemic, obviously. So what I wanted to do was, and it was kind of like a gentleman's agreement, was I wanted to. I felt as though for me to be a better player, I wanted to train with the first team. They couldn't put it in the contract, but it was like they said, like, yeah, we'll bring you up. So I wanted to be training with the first team as much as I can, and then play games with the second team, and they were happy to do that. But then the pandemic hit. There was two different bubbles, and I had to go with the team that I was going to play games with on the weekend. Um, but I mean, it is what it is. These things happen. So yeah, knocked me confidence just a little bit, but I knew after training with the lads for 5-6 weeks that it was definitely a place where I can hang. I can definitely hang with those lads. I mean, there's definitely players that are out of this world up there, with the likes of Valeri, Chara, Blanco, who've been in the league a long time. I actually learned a lot from, but I could definitely hang with a lot of lads. So it definitely helped me confidence, although it did deteriorate a little bit when I went down to the second team.
So when you're playing for these basically the reserve teams, I guess, like they don't always seem to get that many fans in for the games. Like whereas obviously Forward Madison, like the fans are mental, right? So like how difficult is that? Like when you're playing reserve team football like that, where like it's not really a team as such. Like you're trying to get somewhere else, right? So like what's the vibe like when you're trying to play in a team like that?
Yeah, no, it's totally different. I mean, it was the pandemic, so no one was allowed in the stadium, other than the players, and I actually didn't know if they got fans or not, um, prior to the pandemic. But yeah, it's night and day. I mean, the fans definitely play a big factor. Playing at home here in Madison is unbelievable. You have 5,000-6,000 people shouting in your name when I'm taking a corner, or like make a good pass or score a goal. It definitely helps, you know. So yeah, it's tough when you don't really hear fans, and you can hear your own thoughts. You can hear everything from throughout the whole pitch. The vibe's just a little bit different, but yeah, I'm just happy where I'm at right now.
So speaking of the pandemic, like obviously you're not from the States. Like, so how's it been trying to, I know you got home for like a little bit too, but how's it been like trying to stay in touch with family, and like how are you coping with having to beat that kind of homesickness?
Yeah, no, honestly, I don't really get homesick that much. I try to stay as busy as possible with football training. I started the podcast at the time. If anything, it actually gave me more time to go speak with family and friends on the phone all the time. But I was lucky enough that my girlfriend came and stayed with me for probably, I think, up to 4 months during the height of the pandemic. So it was definitely helped. So wasn't that bad for me personally.
That's good to hear. That's good to hear. But yeah, just going back to the Madison fans. Like, I mean, I've seen a few of the games now, and when they got the first full house there a couple of weeks ago, man, it just looks mental. Like how 5 or 6 thousand people can make that amount of noise is insane.
Yep.
So like when you're walking around the town, like do people recognize you and say stuff, or like is there any that kind of thing, or is it just like
Yeah, a little bit, not too much. We actually live in the apartments, probably 15 minutes outside the city, so we're not in the city like a lot. But when we're in there, people will know us. And it's funny enough, you walk around the city, so many people we wearing the Madison jerseys because they're absolutely gorgeous. Like, so you do notice them before they notice you, really, because they're just wearing the jerseys all the time. But yeah, the fans are fantastic, and the people you get to meet them, you get to know them, and they're just really nice people.
I saw the new one, the reversible one that they brought
Mhm.
out, man. That's something else.
Yeah, no, they are. They're definitely getting creative with things. I really like the black one. The pink one is nice too, but I think the black one is something that I would probably pay for myself. But yeah, the design team here is fantastic, and from the jersey last year, they had to do something. So there they go. There you go. A reversible jersey.
Yeah, I like it. Like, and both sides was like a really nice. I like the little on the black one, like the little pink flamingos and
All
all
the
that kind of stuff.
flamingos, yeah.
Yeah, do you have like nightmares about flamingos because you see so many of them on on a daily basis?
No, I don't. If anything, they bring me joy.
So the season started really well for you, and then you kind of had like a little bit of a blip. But I mean, you play you. as you mentioned, you played against Greenville and you kind of held your own. So like, where do you feel that this team can go? Like, I mean, you've played on enough teams now, I guess, to know if a team is shit or not, I guess, right?
Yeah,
So
no, honestly, it's so much quality in this team. I mean, there's competition not only for the starting 11, but you just don't know who even is going to make the bench each week because there's so much competition, so many great players that can come in and do a job. So not only are you playing to win a game, but you're playing to keep your spot because there's 2 or 3 lads in your position ready to grab it. I really do feel as though we can go all the way. Every game we've been in, every game we've played, we've been in. We lost 2 games, and honestly, we've kind of just shot ourselves in shot ourselves in the foot. It was from our doing, our mistakes. So if we can eliminate the little things like that, we can definitely get goals. Like we have the likes of yourself, Jake Keegan, who can get on the end of anything, score some goals. We have some lightning quick wingers. We got some creative players in the midfield. So I just think when we're on it, then I don't think any team can really hang with us. Yeah, and I definitely feel as though definitely confident in this group that we could go all the way.
So what's the plan? Like I know it's kind of difficult being a footballer and trying to plan for the future because everything changes. But like are you hoping to like go back up into the USL Championship, or because obviously there's no promotion or relegation in these leagues, right? So, I mean, like if you're with Forward Madison, you're playing in USL League One. That's it. Like, do you want to go back up and play the higher level? Do you want to come back home to Ireland and give it the Premier Division a shot? Like, where do you kind of see yourself in the next like couple of years?
Yeah, I try not to give too much thought into it mid-season. I feel as though maybe after the end of the season, if I look back on my performances and if I did well enough or if I'm confident enough, then definitely, yeah, like I want to play at the highest level I can. And I know I can play at a higher level, and it's absolutely fantastic here. And talking about going back home, I'd never say never, but that's just not my intentions right now. It's not in my mind. I don't really want to go back to Ireland. I'm playing the League of Ireland. I'm really happy with the where I'm at the moment and the opportunities that arise over here. I just feel as though the lifestyle here is fantastic, and it's somewhere where I'd rather stay long term.
So my kind of final question, like I kind of talked to a few people about this. So I just kind of want to get your opinion on it. So like you look at the Ireland team right now, like we don't have any strikers. There's not the amount of quality is not the same. And then you look at the US team, and they have like all these players that are starting to play in the top teams, top leagues in the world. Obviously, we don't have 250 million people living in Ireland, but like, where do you think that the FAI needs to invest in? Because I know you said you did your FOSS course, which obviously helped, but like, where do you think they need to invest in to kind of get us back, like to having players playing for Man United, Liverpool's?
Yeah, they probably could take a note from the USA and on how they do things. They get lads in really young into systems, like the likes of Red Bull or FC Dallas. They get lads in really young and they mold them into the way they want to play football. So when they play, it's second to none. Like it's second nature for them. You know what I mean? They just go in, they know what they have to do. All different systems, and it's some they grow with. They grow with the system. They grow with the team, and you're playing. You're pretty much your whole life. With the likes of Ireland, for me personally, I was with Kevins and Crumlin, and it was no disrespect to them, but we only train twice a week, and over here you'll have 12, 13-year-olds training every single day. So I just feel as though maybe it's going in the right direction, and I know the year I left, they put U17s and U15s, and I think they have a U13s right now for the League of Ireland, and I thought that was a great step. But maybe even get it younger, get the lads in, because I feel as though the younger you start, the more potential that they have. But yeah, I think it's easier said than done. Like you said, there's so many people here in America, and so we're such a small country. But I feel as though we could definitely do a little bit better than what we're doing right now.
Yeah, I mean, like it's like you look at like Shamrock Rovers, who are like the top team. Like I'm a Rovers fan, so I feel like I can say this. But you look at like they brought back Chris McCann, they brought back Richie Tell, and they had Anthony Stokes on trial like last week.
Yeah.
So like so you're taking players like that have left Ireland and gone, and then you just bring them back. Like me personally, I think it would be better to have three younger players like who are starting off their careers in those positions. Then
No, I agree. I think I'm not, correct me if I'm wrong. I think you guys have a lad out on loan to Bray, Brandon. Kavanagh, is that right?
Yeah,
that's just an example right there. Someone who's killing the first division right now, who's absolutely a great player. Why not throw him in for a few games? Give him that experience. And I know he's young. He's probably getting first team football right now at Bray. But if he's good enough, he's old enough. That's what I'll say. And yeah, instead of bringing all these big names coming back from England, why not give this young lad a chance?
Yeah, and I feel like half of it's like trying to get bums on seats. Like, you know, I remember they brought Damien Duff back, which was an absolute shocker. Like, I mean, I think he played like a couple of games and it just like fizzled out. So yeah, I definitely think I think as well we need to look a little bit more at the way the college system works in the States too, that it's tied in with your education. So if football doesn't work out for you, you have something to fall back on. Whereas like in Ireland, like if a trial doesn't work out or whatever like that, you're pretty much on your own after that, right? And it's like
absolutely,
you're back to square one. So just before we finish up, buddy, as I said at the start of the show there, we always do our 5-side team. So from all the players that you've played with, you're going to play a 5-side tournament. Who makes your team? So you don't have to have a goalkeeper if you don't want to. Some people don't, but it's up to you. And I really hope you don't break Jake Keegan's heart right now.
No, Jake's the captain. I need someone to score goals, so I'll have Jake up top. I'm not playing a goalkeeper. I'm playing last man back. I'm not going to put myself in it. Who am I thinking? I'm going to play like a 1-1-3-1, like a diamond with one in the middle. I played with this lad in PDL for a year. He's on the Canadian national team. And he played for Orlando for a couple of years, and he's with Montreal right now, named Kamal Miller.
Yeah.
So I've played with him. Good friend of mine. Technical, strong, left-footed, smart, can dribble. So I feel as though he's playing. He's a centre back when I played him, but I think he's playing left back now in the MLS. But I think I'd have him at the back, and then Jake up front. So 3 midfielders. So first of all, I'm going to go with Zandi, who I played with him for a couple of years. He's with Switchbacks right now in Colorado. He's amazing. Probably 5'5", get out of anything, get past him the ball with two, 3 players around him, and you just know he's going to keep it. And then I'm trying to think who else I played with that would be a good 5. So these are not just players that are like who I think are. These are players I'm picking that I think would be a good 5-a-side team.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So, yeah. So I also we'll probably put Felipe Hideki in there, a Brazilian I played with PDL again. Number 10, just he's a futsal player. This lad's absolutely amazing with the ball at his feet. And that's what I'm talking about. He lives off 5-a-sides. So it'd be criminal for me not to put him in there. And then I've got another spot in the middle. Who am I going with? Sorry, I'm taking so long. I'm trying to think of all the midfielders I've played with.
You don't want to disappoint anyone.
I don't. And the thing is, if I had a bench, I'd be able to pick another 5-side team that had a bench that would probably beat this team. And then who would I put in the middle then? You know what? I'll do another striker. I'll play a 1-2-2. And I'll probably put someone, Franzi Perot. Don't know if you've ever heard about him. I also played PDL with this lad too. He's on the Haiti national team, playing 2nd division in France right now. Played in the Belgian 1st division a couple of years back. And this guy is 6'4", big hold-up striker, just bullies defenders. So I feel as though he'd be a good hold-up play for the lads to do, bounce off 1-2s, get some goals. And the intimidation factor there too with Franzi would be massive. But yeah, I feel that's a good, strong 5-a-side team right there.
Can you just recap it there for me?
Yeah, so we start at the back is Kamal Miller, 2 in the midfield is Zandi, Felipe Hideki, up front Jake Keegan and Franzi Perot.
It's a fucking pretty solid team, my friend.
Yeah,
I like it.
There you go. Yeah.
So I really appreciate you taking the time. Like I know that you're really busy there, hanging out with all your friends and all that kind of stuff. And it's great to see somebody from the inner city in Dublin like making their way in the world and ending up. It's so fucking weird to say like in
Yeah,
Madison, Wisconsin. So
exactly, exactly.
but it goes to show that if you put your mind to something, you can achieve whatever you want to do. So Aaron, thanks a million, man. Good luck for the rest of the season, and we'll talk soon.
Anthony, really appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Have a good one, buddy. Cheers.
Thank you.